Okay, I want you to picture something we've all dealt with. You're driving along, maybe singing along to the radio, having a great time, and then ding,
Yep.
a light flickers on in your dashboard. Maybe it's the check engine light. Maybe it's low fuel. You don't just ignore it, all right?
You'd hope not.
You don't pull out a piece of duct tape, slap it over the icon, and pretend it's not happening. You investigate. You figure out what the car needs.
Because if you ignore it, you end up stranded on the side of the highway. Or, worse, a blown gasket.
Exactly. Now, I want to pivot to a dashboard that most people do try to ignore. In fact, they go to great lengths to cover it up. We're talking about vaginal odor. It is a topic wrapped in so much shame, so much taboo, that when that dashboard lights up, when the scent changes...
The instinct is to hide it.
Right. It's to hide, to mask, to scrub.
Which, if we're sticking with the car analogy, is basically putting tape over the check engine light.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. The shame itself is a health risk here. Because vaginal odor isn't just a smell that exists to annoy you. It's data. It is a sophisticated biological communication system. It's telling you about your hydration, your hormones, your bacterial balance, even your blood sugar.
That is such a powerful reframe. It's not a flaw. It's a notification system.
Exactly.
So the mission for this deep dive is, well, it's simple, but honestly kind of radical. We are going to learn how to read the dashboard. We're working off a really comprehensive guide from Era Organics that breaks down the biology of these scents. We're going to decode what is a normal, healthy fluctuation and what is a flashing red light.
And to do that, we have to start by dismantling the single biggest barrier, the expectation of what a vagina is supposed to smell like.
Oh, you mean the field of wildflowers myth?
Right, the vanilla candle standard, the whole tropical breeze fantasy.
I think this is where the source material really grabs you right at the start. It makes it explicitly clear. The vagina is not supposed to be odorless.
Not at all.
And it is certainly not supposed to smell like a bouquet of roses. If you are chasing a floral scent, you are literally fighting your own body.
You're fighting the microbiome.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. The vagina is a self-cleaning organ. It creates moisture. It sheds cells. It hosts billions of bacteria.
It's a living ecosystem.
It is a living, breathing ecosystem. A healthy, functioning vagina has a scent. That scent is the byproduct of it doing its job.
Yeah.
If it smelled like nothing or like perfume, it just wouldn't be working.
So if meadow is just marketing fiction, what's the biological reality? What is the baseline normal? Because I feel like health class skipped this chapter.
Yeah, they usually do skip that, which leads to so much anxiety. According to the research, a healthy baseline is typically described as mild and musky.
Musky.
Yeah, and it can even smell slightly acidic or tangy. Think along the lines of, say, a sourdough starter or plain yogurt.
Which, I'll be honest, sounds pretty unappealing if you're comparing it to Chanel No. 5.
Right.
But biologically, you're saying that tang is actually the smell of safety.
Precisely. It comes down to pH. The vaginal environment is naturally acidic, usually between 3.8 and 4.5 on the pH scale.
That's acidic.
It is.
Yeah.
For context, that's similar to tomato juice. That acidity is your primary defense wall. Most harmful pathogens just can't survive in an environment like that.
So if you smell something slightly sour...
That is the smell of your immune system working correctly. It's the smell of a secure border.
Okay, that's a great way to look at it. But the other thing the source highlights, and this is key, is that normal is a moving target. It's not static.
Not at all. It's dynamic. It shifts with your cycle. When you're ovulating, for instance, estrogen spikes, which might make the scent milder.
And when you're menstruating.
Well, blood is more alkaline, so the pH shifts and the scent changes again. Pregnancy, menopause, these are massive hormonal ties that alter the entire chemical landscape. If your scent didn't change, that would be weird.
And it's not just internal tides, right? It's external inputs, too. The source brings up diet.
Yeah, which shouldn't be surprising if we really think about it. We accept that if you eat a ton of garlic, your breath smells like garlic.
And your sweat, too, sometimes.
Exactly. The same logic applies here. Foods with strong aromatic compounds, garlic, onions, asparagus, strong spices, they're metabolized. And those compounds get excreted through your pores and your fluids.
So a heavy garlic pasta dinner
Means the next day, things might smell a bit different. It's not an infection.
Yeah.
It's just your body processing dinner. It's temporary.
Then there's the gym factor. We are all sweating more than ever.
Right. And the groin area is dense with sweat glands, the same kind you have in your armpits. They produce a richer, protein-based sweat that bacteria love to break down.
So that intensified musky smell after a workout
is just sweat mixing with the natural bacteria on your skin. Perfectly normal. Doesn't mean you're dirty. It means you worked out.
Okay, so we've established the baseline. Musky, acidic, responsive, that is the green zone. But we still have these myths that drive people to do damage control on things that aren't damaged. We have to talk about the idea that odor equals poor hygiene.
This is probably the most damaging myth of all.
Yeah.
The logic seems sound to people. I smell something, therefore I am dirty, therefore I must wash more.
But the vagina isn't a dirty countertop you need to bleach.
No, it's a delicate microbiome. You're scrubbing away the security guards.
The security guards.
That is exactly what you were doing. When you overwash or use harsh soaps, you kill the lactobacillus, the good bacteria, creating that protective acid. When you kill the good guys, the pH rises, and that's when the bad, odor-causing bacteria move in.
So obsessive hygiene actually causes the odor?
Often, yes. It becomes a vicious cycle. You smell, so you wash, which makes you smell more.
Wow. You can literally clean yourself into a problem. Okay, what about the post-intimacy panic? After sex, things smell different.
And people immediately assume the worst. Oh, no, I caught something. But usually it's just chemistry. We talked about how the vagina is acidic, low pH. Semen is alkaline, high pH. It has to be to protect sperm. When you introduce an alkaline fluid into an acidic environment, a chemical reaction occurs.
And that reaction has a smell.
It releases compounds called amines, which have a distinct, strong odor. It's just a temporary chemical clash. A healthy body rebalances its pH, and the scent resolves on its own within a few hours.
Okay, so that covers the green zone and the false alarms. But now we need to get into the real detective work, the odor decoder.
This is where we talk about the warning lights.
Let's start with the one that drives the most doctor visits, the fishy smell.
Yeah, this is the one people dread, but it's a real medical signal. A strong, distinct, fishy odor is the clinical hallmark of bacterial vaginosis, or BV.
Can we break down what BV actually is?
It's the most common vaginal infection for women in their reproductive years. And it's important to note, it's not an external invader, it's an internal civil war.
A civil.
Basically, the bad bacteria, like Gardnerella, start to outnumber the good bacteria, the lactobacillus. When Gardnerella takes over, it produces those amines we just mentioned, but in massive quantities.
And the source says the smell gets worse after sex.
Right, because of that pH rise. The alkalinity of semen acts like fertilizer for the bad bacteria. If you have that fishy odor, often with a thin, grayish discharge, that is a confirmed check engine light.
So you need to see a doctor.
Yes. Usually for antibiotics to reset the balance. You cannot wash this away.
Okay, moving on. The yeasty or bread-like smell.
This one is very different. If BV is fishy, this smells more like baking bread, or maybe beer. It signals a fungal issue, a yeast infection, candida overgrowth.
And the visual clue here is pretty iconic.
Yes. Thick, white, clumpy discharge. The classic description is cottage cheese. And unlike BV, yeast infections usually bring intense itching, redness, swelling. It's physically uncomfortable.
So fishy equals bacteria, yeasty equals fungus. Why does it matter if we get them mixed up?
Because the treatments are opposites. If you have a yeast infection, a fungus, and you take antibiotics, which kill bacteria, you might kill off the remaining good bacteria that were keeping the yeast in check, making the fungal infection explode. Diagnosing the smell correctly is the first step.
Got it. Next on the list, a metallic smell, like pennies.
This one usually causes panic, but the cause is almost always benign. It's iron.
Dust iron.
Yes. Blood is rich in iron. When you're menstruating or even just spotting, that blood mixes with your natural fluids. Iron has a very distinct metallic scent.
So if you're on your period, it's normal, but what if you aren't?
If you smell metal and you are absolutely not bleeding, it might warrant a checkup, just to be safe. But 99% of the time, it's just your period.
Now, here's one that I found really counterintuitive. A sweet or fruity smell. I feel like if I smelled that, I'd think, hey, great, I smell like a fruit basket. Problem solved.
It's a trap. A sweet or fruity scent is actually a really interesting metabolic signal. It can indicate high glucose levels.
High glucose. You mean blood sugar?
Exactly. If you have unmanaged diabetes or insulin resistance, your body tries to dump that excess sugar anywhere it can, including into your urine and vaginal secretions.
And bacteria love sugar.
Yeast loves sugar, is their favorite food. So not only does the fluid itself smell sweet, but you've created the perfect breeding ground for a massive yeast infection.
That is wild. Your reproductive system could be the first place you notice a metabolic issue.
It happens more often than you would think.
Okay, next. An ammonia smell. like Windex?
This is usually a hydration issue. When you're dehydrated, your urine becomes highly concentrated with waste products like urea, which breaks down into ammonia.
So the prescription is drink a glass of water.
Drink several glasses of water.
Yeah.
Flush the system. Now, if you are well hydrated and it persists, it could be a sign of a UTI or a different type of BV, but start with a water bottle.
Finally, the source mentions a rotten smell, and the language here gets very urgent.
It does. We're talking about a foul, decaying odor. This is not subtle. And it's almost always caused by a retained foreign object.
A forgotten tampon.
Usually, yes.
Hmm?
Or sometimes a trapped condom. It happens. People get busy, distracted, and a tampon gets left in for days.
Yikes.
The problem is that object becomes a scaffold for bacteria to multiply at an exponential rate. This isn't just gross. This is how toxic shock syndrome, TSS, starts.
So this is a medical emergency?
Yes. If you smell this, check yourself immediately, remove it if you find it, and see a doctor to make sure the infection hasn't spread.
Okay, so we've decoded the dashboard, we know what the lights mean, but I want to dig into the mechanics a bit more. We keep saying pH and bacteria, but the source brought up another factor I hadn't connected to odor: dryness.
This is a huge light bulb moment for a lot of people. We tend to associate odor with moisture, with fluids, but dryness is a major culprit for chronic odor.
How does lack of moisture create a smell?
It's about the tissue itself. Think of healthy vaginal tissue like a lush, hydrated rainforest. It's resilient. When estrogen drops, due to menopause, breastfeeding, certain medications, that tissue gets thin and dry, like parchment paper.
And parchment paper tears easily.
Exactly. You get friction from walking, from sex. That friction causes micro-tears in the lining. And those tiny tears are breaches in the fortress walls. They become hiding spots for pathogens. But more importantly, the good bacteria, our lactobacillus friends, they need moisture to survive.
So if you dry out the environment, the good bacteria die off.
Exactly. And when they die off, the pH rises and the bad bacteria take over.
Mm.
So the odor you smell is from the bacterial imbalance caused by the dryness.
This also connects to discharge. People want to get rid of it.
Discharge is the hero of the story. It's a self-cleaning mechanism. It's fluid flushing out dead cells and trapped bacteria. You want that flow. It's the janitorial staff.
Discharge is the hero. I'm putting that on a t-shirt. Okay, so we understand the mechanics. Now for solutions. The source outlines a prevention protocol, and the theme seems to be less is more.
Absolutely. Stop interfering with the system.
Well, let's start with hygiene. How do we wash correctly?
The golden rule. Vulva, not vagina. You wash the external parts, the labia, with warm water and maybe a very mild, unscented soap. You never wash the inside.
And douching.
Don't do it. Full stop. Douching is like taking a fire hose to your microbiome. You're flushing out all the good bacteria. Statistically, women who douche are far more likely to get BV.
Clear enough. What about clothing?
Breathability is key. The bacteria that cause odor thrive in environments with no oxygen. Tight synthetic fabrics trap heat and moisture.
Creating a greenhouse for bad bacteria?
Exactly. Cotton is the gold standard because it lets air flow. If you love your gym leggings, fine, but take them off as soon as you're done working out.
Note to self. And diet. Can it help the smell?
It can. Hydration is the big one for preventing that ammonia smell.
Yeah.
And probiotics. Eating yogurt, kefir, fermented foods. You're sending in reinforcements for your lactobacillus.
Okay, but let's say you're doing all the right things, but the check engine light is still on. The source details some specific treatments.
Well, first, if you have a fishy odor or cottage cheese discharge, you likely need a prescription from a doctor.
Right. Don't home remedy a raging infection. But the source, Era Organics, mentions specific products that align with this science. First up is boric acid vaginal suppositories.
Boric acid sounds intense, I know, but it's been used in women's health for over a century. It's basically a pH hacker.
A pH hacker?
If you're struggling with recurrent BV or yeast, your environment keeps getting too alkaline. Boric acid is a mild antiseptic that forcibly lowers the pH back to that healthy acidic range. It hits the reset button.
It makes the environment hostile to the bad guys again.
Exactly. It gives your natural good bacteria a chance to regrow.
And then there's the Harmony Vaginal Moisturizer. This addresses the dryness factor.
Right. If dryness is causing those micro-tears, you need to repair the barrier. This moisturizer isn't just lube. It's a daily treatment with aloe vera and vitamin E.
Why those?
Aloe is anti-inflammatory and hydrating. Vitamin E helps with tissue repair. By keeping the tissue plump and moist, you prevent the cracks in the armor. You're sealing the breaches.
So if we zoom out, what's the big picture here?
I think the takeaway is that we need to stop viewing vaginal odor as a flaw or a hygiene failure. It's information. It's a biological feedback loop.
It's your body talking to you.
It's telling you, hey, we're dehydrated, or hey, the pH is off.
And the worst thing you can do is tell it to shut up by spraying perfume on it.
Exactly. When you mask the odor, you lose the data. When you scrub it, you destroy the machinery. The vagina is self-regulating. The best approach is to support it. Gentle hygiene, breathable fabrics, hydration, and then just get out of its way.
Trust the system.
Trust the system.
I love that. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought that really stuck with me. We talked about how a garlic dinner or a glass of water can change your scent within hours. It just makes you wonder how much of what we consider our scent is really just a reflection of our last meal.
It is a humbling thought. We are quite literally walking chemistry sets.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Stay curious, stay hydrated, and listen to your dashboard. We'll see you next time.